This story starts with world destruction, like many other manhwas. The whole city was on fire, with armies and aliens fighting in the sky, and on the ground, huge monsters were attacking the public, devouring them like chickens. Suddenly, a beast so huge appeared that it blocked out the sun and darkened the sky. Yet, it felt like a kindred spirit. Our protagonist walked towards the huge beast, and looking into the beast's eyes, he felt as if they were the same being. The beast was him, and he was the beast. The huge beast turned to those monsters and shot an energy beam from its mouth like Godzilla. For all the humans running away from the aliens and monsters, it was a sign of hope that something that powerful was on their side. Our protagonist looked down on the world, knowing that the world would honor him as if he were a god. Now, he is the hope of humanity, who can control that huge beast. This all started a few months ago. It was reported on the news that on June 2nd, 2224, the zoo of Ning City was attacked by a snake more than 100 meters long. Experts have not been able to determine the species of the snake. Several citizens were able to film the appearance of a giant whale-like beast in the sky north of the city, which caused quite a stir. Lately, internationally wanted criminals have been on the loose in Ning City. The news was live on the television in a room where our protagonist was lying on a table covered in his blood. He was able to see himself lying unconscious. He was very confused because the body in front of his eyes was his own body. He didn't understand what was going on, and turned around to look in a mirror. He was shocked to see himself in the mirror because he had just turned into a sea iguana. Our protagonist's name is Chen Chu, a sophomore at the University of Ning. He has been renting a place outside the school since he doesn't like living in the dorms. He likes cold-blooded animals and is fascinated by their vibrant colors. The pet store he bought animals from just got a new batch of exotic pets today, and Chen was immediately drawn to a sea iguana, an amphibious creature. Sea iguanas are generally gentle, but an accident happened the moment it was let loose. It broke its cage and attacked Chen, biting his hand with its sharp teeth. Chen was in immense pain, and immediately took out his phone from his pocket and hit the sea iguana on the head. When the sea iguana got hit, it lost its grip and freed Chen's hand. But before falling, the sea iguana's tail hit Chen's phone, and it struck Chen on the head. Like that, both of them lost consciousness. After seeing himself as a sea iguana in his dreams, Chen woke up. He found the sea iguana right in front of his face, but something had changed in both of them. Chen raised his hand, and the sea iguana also raised its hand. Chen was surprised to find that now he could control the body of the lizard, as if controlling his own arms. He smiled looking at the sea iguana, wondering if this was his so-called golden finger, and this was finally the time for his hero's journey to begin. But there was a problem. Chen didn't know what his iguana buddy could do. He wondered whether he should go on a live stream to show off how smart his lizard was, or sell freshly dug up abalone or sea cucumbers. Thinking about all that, Chen got disappointed. He guessed he wasn't meant to be a main character after all. When other people received cheats, they either became powerful villains ordained by fate, or transformed into a tree that grew into the god of the universe. And here he was, stuck with a little lizard. While he was thinking all this, both his and the iguana's stomachs growled together. Chen was very hungry, as he hadn't realized he had passed out for the entire day. Looking at the iguana, he wondered what sea iguanas eat. His sea iguana was very curious, and started climbing on Chen's hand. Seeing that, Chen thought since it's a lizard, it should be fine with meat. He took out a packed steak from his refrigerator, and, with his amazing cooking skills, made a delicious medium-rare steak. When the sea iguana saw Chen's cooked steak, its eyes lit up immediately. It started eating the steak happily. Seeing it eat like that, Chen smiled and said, "I knew it. Sea iguanas and lizards can both eat meat." Just as the sea iguana started eating the steak, suddenly a system notification popped up in front of Chen's eyes saying, "After eating, your clone received 5 evolution points, and your constitution has increased by 0.5. Chen was shocked by what this was, and before he could understand anything, suddenly the whole system status window popped up. It was Chen's status window. It showed that Chen was level 0. His constitution was 8.5, and his spirit was 12. He had the mind control talent, and he possessed external aura and chi perception traits, both at the beginner level with 0 out of 1000 experience. His skills were extremities boxing, beginner level with 48 points, stepping cloud jump, also beginner with 66 points, and springing leg, also beginner with 39 points. His first clone was the sea iguana. Its evolution had not started. It had 5 points, and needed 200 points for the first evolution. Chen was too shocked to see that status window. He wondered if this was what his actual cheat was. In the status window, what caught Chen's eyes were his skills. Looking at those skills, Chen remembered his past. In his childhood, His father used to teach him martial arts. He used to tell Chen that if he only practiced the form without understanding the foundation, he might have learned nothing. The root of his force is at his feet. It should start from his thighs and control his abdomen. These lessons lasted 10 to 12 hours a day, making Chen's little body very exhausting. But whenever Chen asked his father if he could take a break, his father immediately told him no, saying it was cowardly to give up halfway. From the beginning, Chen didn't want to be a coward, so he started practicing again, running as fast as he could, even when he tripped and fell on the ground or got injured. His father didn't help him, only telling him that no one else would help him when he grew up. Then, one day when Chen was 10 years old, his father handed him a box, telling Chen that it contained all their savings. He told Chen that he needed to take a very long trip, and that Chen would have to walk the rest of the journey himself. Chen was very sad that day. For the first time, Chen's father patted Chen's head and told him to remember that he could not neglect practicing martial arts, and when he was strong enough, he would be able to see the other side of the world. Chen was very sad and asked his dad how he was supposed to find him again. His father told Chen that when he became a grandmaster, but his father stopped before completing his sentence and told Chen that he might not be here anymore by then. Just like that, Chen's father left the house and closed the main door. Since then, his father has not returned. Chen got very emotional remembering his past. He looked at a picture of his father and mother, and was very sad because a decade had passed before he knew it. While Chen was lost in his thoughts, the sea iguana completely cleared his plate. Chen was amazed to see how fast this little guy eats. After the iguana finished, its body started shining in red. Chen looked closely at the iguana, and was confused if this was just him, or if the sea iguana had just grown longer. Chen immediately looked in his status window, and saw that the sea iguana's evolution points had increased to 15. Chen was a little surprised to see that the sea iguana had 15 points now after a meal. While he was understanding how his system works, something caught his eye. Chen saw himself in the mirror placed in his room. His body seemed very different from before. He immediately checked his body, and was very shocked to see his 8-pack abs. Chen's body wasn't this built before. He realized that the points the iguana received could even reflect on him. Chen looked at his iguana, wondering that since it could evolve for the first time if it got more points, perhaps it could even grow into the behemoth from his dreams. Chen got very happy thinking that with the help of this system, he could become a real martial arts grandmaster. The next day at the marketplace, Chen bought 10 pounds of prime beef, no bones, and 20 pounds of pork, lean meat, also no bones, and asked the shopkeeper to pack all of it. He then used his phone to pay with the QR code. He put everything in the back of his car, thinking this should be enough to last for a few days. He then drove off from the marketplace. Without wasting any time, he directly returned to his apartment. Using his master chef skill, he made all kinds of dishes for the sea iguana to eat because, with that, he would be closer to becoming a martial arts master. Seeing those dishes, the sea iguana's mouth watered. In just a few seconds, the sea iguana finished all of the plates. Chen connected his mind with the sea iguana, and found out that in the sea iguana's palate, pork didn't taste as good as beef. He then disconnected the control, and woke up. With just a few minutes of connection, he felt tired. While stretching, he said, "The beef could use a bit more cumin. I'll make sure to add more next time." After the meal, the sea iguana took a nap while wearing sunglasses. On the other hand, Chen went to the martial arts room to train. With all his force, he punched the punching bag. His punch was so strong that it completely changed the punching bag's shape. A system notification came telling Chen that after his hard work training, his extremities boxing experience had increased by 5 points. Chen was happy because not only had his constitution improved, but his training progress was faster than before. 2 days passed like this. Chen was still training, having destroyed 2 punching bags in these 2 days, and the current one he was using didn't look that great. After training for that long, he was a little exhausted. This feeling of getting stronger just by working hard at training is amazing. Before ending this section, Chen again jumped to the punching bag. He kicked the punching bag with all his power, and his kick was so strong that the chains holding the punching bag broke, sending it flying. After just 3 days of training, Chen's attributes had increased significantly. His extremities boxing skill upgraded to an intermediate level, and his stepping cloud jump and springing leg skills also increased in power. Not only that, the sea iguana's evolution points also increased to 195. It now only needed 5 points to evolve for the first time. Looking at his status window, Chen said, "From the perspective of traditional martial arts, right now, I should have reached the peak of the Ming realm." Chen remembered his father telling him that the realms of martial arts are divided into Ming, Dark, and Transformation. The peak of the Ming realm makes one a top-notch fighter, capable of taking on 10 opponents alone. The Dark Realm makes one a first-rate expert, able to fight 100 at once, but they are usually hidden within legendary families. The Transformation Realm allows one to take on 1,000. They're the Grandmasters recorded in history, rare in modern times. The Transformation Realm represents an unbreakable body, only described in ancient texts. At that time, Chen was very amazed, and asked his father which realm he was in. Chen's father told him that he once briefly reached the Dark Realm, but his expression darkened, remembering what happened after that. Little Chen didn't understand his father's emotions. He was very amazed by his father reaching the Dark Realm, and asked him if he was from one of those legendary families too. Chen's father was shocked by little Chen's question. He took a deep breath and told Chen that he was just from Luotuan. In the present, it's already afternoon. When Chen comes out of the martial arts room, he finds his sea iguana lying on the sofa. He was surprised to see the sea iguana, which had grown so much already in just 3 days. The sea iguana only needed 5 more points to evolve. Looking at it, Chen said, "One more meal, and you will be ready to evolve. Let's hope it won't be disappointing." He again made many dishes, and gave them to the sea iguana. As the sea iguana started eating, its evolution points began to increase. The evolution points reached 199. It was almost ready to evolve. Chen connected himself to the sea iguana, because he couldn't wait to see how this little guy changes. When the evolution points reached 200, a system notification came telling Chen that his clone, the sea iguana, had met the evolution requirements, and evolution would now begin. Just as that notification came, a lightning-like pain ran through the sea iguana's left hand. It was too painful, and Chen, who was connected to the sea iguana, also felt that pain in his left hand. Both Chen and the sea iguana fell to the ground because of the pain. Spikes grew on the sea iguana's back, its body grew, and scales appeared all over its body. The sea iguana was in so much pain because of the changes in its body that it ran wild in the room, destroying everything in its way. After a few minutes, the pain of the transformation slowed down. Chen was still lying on the ground and was very shocked. He hadn't thought that evolution would hurt this much. Suddenly, he heard some noises from his side and took a look. It was the sea iguana, which had now grown to the size of a crocodile. Chen was impressed seeing its size and decided to see how strong his sea iguana was after evolving. On Chen's command, the sea iguana turned with lightning speed and hit the punching bag with its tail. The punching bag burst from the sea iguana's tail attack. Chen was impressed because the evolved iguana now had extraordinary power. After the sea iguana's evolution, Chen's attributes increased again. His constitution doubled, and his spirit increased by 2. His external aura and chi perception traits also became more powerful. After completing the first evolution, the sea iguana needed 1,000 evolution points to evolve again. Chen was surprised looking at his status window as he hadn't expected that when the clone evolves, his main body's physique and attributes would directly double in growth. Looking at his status window, Chen was a little confused. He just didn't know if his attributes increased because his current strength was too weak, or if every time the clone evolves, his body's constitution would double. Chen smiled, thinking, if it's the former, then my strength will improve at a decent pace early on, but if it's the latter, that would be kind of terrifying. Currently, judging by traditional martial arts standards, Chen realized that he had just entered the Dark Realm. He activated his traits which allow him to unleash external energy. Seeing a red energy coming out of his body, Chen got very happy because now, he was officially a martial arts expert. But after looking into that energy, Chen understands that with training, 100 skill experience points a day is the limit. He thought that, since the improvements are mirrored, to further enhance his body, he will have to rely on the sea iguana. He again connected himself with the sea iguana, and when he released his energy, the sea iguana also released the same energy. Chen was shocked to find that even the iguana could release his external energy. Suddenly, the sea iguana got alert and looked in the direction of the main door. It felt someone's presence. That person started knocking on Chen's apartment door. Chen was also a little surprised by the sudden guest. The one knocking on the door was a muscular guy who looked very angry. Chen opened the door slowly and asked the muscular guy what happened. The muscular guy was shocked to see Chen. Chen came out while his energy was still active, and because of that, his presence felt like some monster in the form of a human. The muscular guy was shaking in fear after seeing Chen, thinking, what's with this kid? He's giving me the vibe that he could crush me in seconds. The muscular guy tried to act as sweet as he could to not anger Chen, and told Chen that lately, it's been kind of noisy upstairs, so he came to check if his place was under renovation. Chen acted clueless, and immediately apologized to the man, and explained to him that there are no renovations here. It's just that he has been training lately and didn't realize it was that loud. The muscular guy got more scared to hear that it was just training. wondering whose training feels like an earthquake. He tried to take a sneak peek into Chen's apartment and saw that everything inside Chen's apartment was destroyed. It looked like an earthquake had happened inside. The muscular guy was too scared seeing all that. He realized that if he said something to Chen, it would not go well. He immediately turned around and said, "It's fine, no big deal." While leaving, he asked Chen if he could change his training methods a bit, like maybe something quieter. Chen apologized again and told the man that it was no problem. He would adjust his training methods from now on. The scared muscular guy thanked Chen and immediately went into the elevator to escape from there. After he left, Chen's sea iguana came out, which had been hiding on Chen's command. After checking that everything was okay and that the muscular guy hadn't found out about the sea iguana, Chen closed the door. Looking at his sea iguana's size, he realized that the sea iguana clone was too large and it was no longer suitable to keep indoors. He decided that it was about time to release the sea iguana clone into the sea. He took the sea iguana in his car and drove off to the nearest beach. When he got to the beach and checked that no one was around, he opened the door of his car and let the sea iguana come out. Even though it was a sea iguana, it was its first time seeing the sea in reality. After that, Chen connected his mind with the sea iguana, controlled its body, and went into the sea. When the sea iguana was underwater, Chen activated his energy sense. When the energy sensing was activated, Chen could see many sea creatures all around him. With the current energy sense, he could cover a radius of 10 meters around him. While he was exploring the sea and its animals, he saw a 5-eyed fish swimming. Chen was shocked to see that a fish actually had 5 eyes. He decided to make it today's first target. Slowly, he started following the 5-eyed fish, and when he got very near, he immediately jumped to attack. The fish was too shocked to see the sea iguana, and immediately went inside a hole in the ground. When Chen followed the fish into that hole, the 5-eyed fish came out suddenly to attack. Chen didn't give the fish any chance to deal damage and immediately attacked it. He bit the fish's stomach with its sharp teeth. After killing the fish, the sea iguana ate it. A system notification came telling Chen that after eating the mutated fish, his clone gained 10 evolution points. Chen's physique also increased by 1. Chen was surprised to see 10 evolution points because after evolving, eating normal food only provides 1 evolution point per meal, but mutated fish can actually give 10 points. Chen thought that with these kinds of mutated creatures appearing in the ocean, and considering the recent news, it seems like the world is far from peaceful. While roaming around, Chen noticed a mutated fish with 10 eyes and hunted it down. He killed that fish with its sharp teeth and devoured it, gaining more evolution points. After a few hours, Chen got a system notice that his clone had already reached the daily cap of 100 evolution points, and he could not gain more today. Chen was amazed to see that to human eyes, the ocean at night is cold and pitch black. But through the sea iguana clone's eyes, Chen saw that the underwater world is colorful and vibrant. As an amphibian, the sea iguana can stay underwater for a long time, but since it doesn't have gills, it still relies on lungs to breathe, so it needs to surface for air every now and then. While he was exploring, he saw a huge crack on the surface of the sea. He went into that crack and found a cave inside filled with air. Chen thought this spot looked pretty good and decided to have the sea iguana clone rest here. After disconnecting the mind control of the sea iguana, Chen said, "Since the clone is settled, it's about time for me to head back." While he was heading home, he saw a house in the middle of the forest. Chen was shocked to see that house. He could not believe that someone was actually living in this place. But before he could pass that house, he heard someone's voice asking for help. Chen understood that something might be wrong. His super hearing acted at the right time, but to not alert the bad guys, he didn't stop his car and went ahead. His decision was right because 2 thugs, one bald and one with blue hair, were looking at his car from inside the house. They checked carefully to see if Chen's car had left. Those thugs had kidnapped a girl whose screams for help Chen had heard. 2 thugs were checking outside, and one black-haired thug was preventing the girl from screaming. The bald thug kicked the black-haired guy, shouting, "How are you this careless? Didn't I tell you to watch her? You didn't even notice the cloth fell out of her mouth." The black-haired thug explained to his boss that it was so dark out here. How could he have seen it when they dragged her in? The bald thug understood that it wasn't his fault. He took a cloth and covered the girl's mouth, telling her to shut up and behave, or he would let the guys have their fun tonight. The girl was very scared and helpless. Little did she know that her savior had already arrived. Chen came by foot so that the thugs wouldn't get alerted. He immediately activated his energy sense, which allowed him to easily see what was happening inside the house and how many people were there. It worked like X-ray vision. He saw that inside, there were 2 thugs having a drink, and a girl who was tied with ropes. There was another thug standing beside the main door, eating something and busy on his phone. Seeing the scene from inside, Chen realized that it was either kidnapping or human trafficking. There were 3 men, and 2 of them had knives. Chen decided that it was best to deal with them within a minute. He gathered all his energy in his hand, and then smashed the main door of the house. When he smashed the door, the thugs were surprised, and immediately took out their knives. Chen didn't give them any chance to attack. He immediately kicked the black-haired thug in the stomach. That thug went flying and hit a wall behind with a solid impact. Shouting, "You piece of shit!" The bald thug jumped to attack Chen from behind, but Chen turned around with lightning speed and hit that thug on the chest with his elbow. Chen's attack broke that thug's ribs, sending him flying. But then the third blue-haired thug appeared and caught the bald thug from falling. He told the bald thug to take a breath, then came forward and took a martial arts technique pose, announcing his move as Yue Wang Fist. His name was Ning Fu, and he asked Chen for his move. Chen also took the pose of the martial arts technique his father taught him, announcing it as Luo Tuan 8 Extremities Boxing. Their fight started when Ning Fu used his Yue Wang Fist technique, Move 1, To Lu Fist, and attacked Chen. However, Chen easily blocked his fist and pulled Ning Fu toward himself. Just as Ning Fu was within range, Chen attempted to kick him in the face, but Ning Fu blocked Chen's attack with his leg. Then he used his Yue Wang Fist's Move 2. 2 horses joined Tang and punched Chen in the face with full power. His punch landed perfectly, making Chen realize that Ning Fu was an expert. Chen was falling but managed to balance himself and stop. Now Ning Fu was in his range. Ning Fu was surprised to see Chen still standing. Before he could react, Chen turned around with lightning speed and used his 8 Extremities Boxing's Iron Mountain Slam technique, slamming Ning Fu with his shoulder. Chen's attack was so powerful that Ning Fu went flying and hit the ground with a solid impact. Ning Fu was on the ground but smiled, thinking this was getting interesting. He stood up and told Chen he didn't expect that. After coming down the mountain, he would meet a real disciple of Luo Tuan 8 Extremities. Ning Fu admitted that the Iron Mountain Slam, an ultimate move of 8 extremities, deserved its reputation. But Chen told him it was a shame though. Confused, Ning Fu asked him what he meant by a shame. Chen walked towards Ning Fu and told him that he didn't expect to see a thug being halfway decent with Yue Wang Fist. What a shame that the disciple of Yue Wang Fist has gone on a crooked path, Chen said. Hearing that, Ning Fu started smiling. While standing, he said, "What are you so high and mighty for? You're just a student who doesn't know any better. I only understood after I left the mountain." He suddenly jumped to attack Chen, shouting, "In this world, if you want to get ahead, you have to do whatever it takes." Ning Fu abandoned his martial arts techniques and used his fingers to attack Chen's eyes. Chen was surprised but reacted in time and kicked Ning Fu in the face, sending him flying. Ning Fu went flying and fell on his face. After the battlefield, Chen's adrenaline went down, and he fell to the ground. Chen admitted that the battle between martial artists is truly dangerous. The pressure he felt from Ning Fu was way more than that of dozens of strong muscle men. Looking at his fist, Chen thought, "Too bad that my control over my strength is still inadequate. Things don't bode well for these 3 people. They all got serious injuries." Chen decided to practice mastering control over his strength somehow. After seeing all the kidnappers defeated, the girl started making sounds to call Chen. Chen went and freed her from the ropes. The girl was so scared she immediately hugged Chen. Chen comforted her, saying, "It's all right now. Don't be scared." The girl, while crying, thanked Chen for his help. After the girl calmed down a little, Chen gave her a phone and told her that she could call the police after he left. Chen told her if the police asked her about him, she could tell them she didn't get a good look at him and didn't know who he was. The girl he saved was very pretty. She nodded and told Chen that she wouldn't tell the police. Then, 10 minutes later, the police arrived at the scene. They surrounded the whole place, and officers entered inside, telling the thugs to not move and put their hands in the air. But those officers were shocked to see inside. They saw that all the thugs were already lying on the ground, and only the girl was standing there. The scene then shifts to police headquarters. Security agency police officer Guan Qing comes to her deputy chief's office with the information he requested. She told the deputy chief that they were able to see clear footprints on the broken door. Based on the depth and the way the door axle broke off, someone kicked the door open from the front, sending the door flying about 3 meters away, so the force used was at least 1,000 kilograms. She took out all the photos from the scene and told the deputy chief that among the kidnappers, 2 of them died instantly, and the one left has entered a vegetative state after suffering a major concussion. According to the kidnapped girl, Lin Rongya, the person who helped her was wearing a mask in the night, and she couldn't tell what they looked like. The deputy chief of the security agency looked at those photos and got confused, asking how this could be. The most force the king of boxing was able to exert was 800 kilograms on a machine in boxing. In real life, it's unheard of for this amount of force to be reached. Officer Guanqing agreed, saying, "It's true that this guy's strength is inhuman, although stranger things have been happening lately." While they were talking, suddenly thunder struck above the city. Looking outside his window, the deputy chief said a storm is coming. He was not talking about the weather. He was talking about evil things which could disturb the city's public. On the other hand, after saving that girl, Chen went to a lakeside with his car. There was a boat in the lake, and Chen's attention was not on the boat. He was looking at that boat from his car. From that boat, 3 men came out. 2 men were shirtless and looked like thugs, but the third man with black hair looked like a businessman. One of the thugs called the black-haired man boss and asked him why he had just made some money and already spent 1 million on a woman from Bald Tiger, questioning if that wasn't too wasteful. The other thug agreed with the first, telling his boss that it took them so long to dig up a sunken ship and they only made a little more than 2 million. Hearing them, the black-haired guy called them short-sighted and asked them if they even knew who that woman is, stating that money will not be an issue if they have her. Hearing that, both of the thugs got happy. The black-haired boss then asked one thug if he had finished the business with the company. That thug told him not to worry, saying he had already arranged a shipping company. They rented a high-end office building for the offices according to his request. Another thug told the black-haired boss that he also got the headhunting company to find them the prettiest girls for the secretary and the front desk positions, and he would not be disappointed. Hearing that, the black-haired boss smiled and said, with the underwater breathing ability he had awakened, as long as they find the position of a sunken ship, they can get all the treasures on shore. They will have as much money as they want. He laughed and asked those thugs to follow him closely, and he would not let them starve. While they were talking, suddenly something jumped on a tree behind them, alerting those 3. The black-haired boss immediately turned around and asked, "Who's there?" It was Chen who was behind the tree. He came out and told the black-haired guy that he had seen a lot of perverts, but some were especially notable. Seeing Chen emerge from behind the tree, the black-haired guy took out his knife and immediately jumped to attack Chen, shouting, "You've got a lot of nerve, but people like you don't live long." He was fully intent on killing Chen, not knowing that Chen was a martial artist. Chen gathered all his energy into his leg, and then kicked the ground with full force, his attack so powerful that it made the ground explode, causing the black-haired man to bounce into the air. Just as he fell, Chen hit his hand, making him lose his knife. Chen didn't give the black-haired guy any chance to fight back and kicked him in the stomach, sending him flying into a tree. The other 2 thugs were scared seeing their boss defeated. One thug said, "It's impossible. The boss has become way stronger and faster after he got his superpower. He can defeat 5 guys easily." The second thug said it's not good and suggested they run away, but before they could escape, Chen hit the back of their heads, making them lose consciousness and fall to the ground. After taking down those 2 thugs, Chen turned to the black-haired guy and asked him to look at him. The black-haired guy was scared and asked Chen what he was doing. Chen was going to test out his mind control power. He activated the mind control skill and asked the black-haired guy for his name and occupation. Looking into Chen's eyes, the black-haired guy's mind was controlled by Chen and turned purple. He came to Chen and told him that his name was Zhang Changshu. He owned a ship, smuggled for a living, and a month ago, he acquired the superpower to breathe underwater. Hearing the black-haired guy spill everything about himself, Chen was pleased because his mind control was very effective. The black-haired guy was now essentially a puppet under his control. He continued and told Chen that he raided sunken ships in the depths and exchanged any treasure he found for money with rich folks. After the black-haired guy had told him everything, Chen canceled the mind control. Just as the mind control ended, the black-haired guy's broken hand started hurting like crazy, and he fell to the ground. He called Chen boss and asked him what happened to his hand. Chen was confused and told him that he must have broken it himself accidentally. Hearing this, the black-haired guy again called Chen boss and said he understood. Realizing that his mind control had also affected the black-haired guy's judgment, Chen told him to rest a bit on the boat first and said he would be there in a sec after he woke up the other 2. The black-haired guy followed his order. Chen knew that to raise his lizard, he needed a huge amount of food, and Zhang Changshu, who had a ship and often worked with rich people, could be a source of funds. Chen thought perhaps he could use his company to raise his lizard. He again used the mind control skill and controlled the other 2 thugs. The effect of Chen's mind control was amazing. There was some resistance when he tried to control Zhang Changshu, but it was very easy with the normal thugs. It was extra effective towards weak-minded people. A few minutes later, Chen went to the ship the black-haired guy had mentioned. A man wearing glasses, who also worked on the boat, asked the black-haired guy who Chen was. The black-haired guy told him that Chen was his boss, and they had to be respectful to him. Hearing this, all the men on the ship greeted Chen respectfully. Then the black-haired guy asked the glasses-wearing man to prepare the contract for transfer, stating, "This is my boss's ship now." Within a few minutes, the man with glasses prepared the transfer contract and handed it to Chen. Chen took the document and told the man with glasses to wait for him at the office the next day. He then told the black-haired guy that since he was injured, he should follow Chen to the hospital. The next day, early in the morning at sea, Chen continued his hunt with his sea iguana. The sea was a haven of limitless food, and the sea iguana hunted and ate many fish. Meanwhile, in the gym, Chen practiced his boxing techniques. As the sea iguana continued to hunt in the sea and gain evolution points, Chen also gained constitution points. However, Chen knew that he couldn't rely solely on his iguana clone to increase his power. He needed to train more as well. After 2 battles, Chen felt that his control over strength had improved. After the hunt, the sea iguana went into a mountain cave to also practice attacking. System messages informed Chen that absorbed energy had been digested during training, and he had gained 6 evolution points. That afternoon, Chen went to the office where the black-haired guy had transferred the ship to him. Chen was pleased because the transfer process was complete. He hadn't gone outside for a day, and had managed to gain more than 90 evolution points, and his sea iguana's body had also grown 20 centimeters. Chen decided that the next day, he would take his lizard to the deep sea. He was in a hurry because he now knew he wasn't the only person with superpowers in the world, and he needed to become stronger, especially now that there were unknown creatures in the depths of the ocean. The following day, the ship Chen acquired was fishing in the deep ocean. The 2 thugs who had been working with the black-haired man, Zhang, were on the ship. One guy checked the net and noted that there had been much fewer fish lately. They were basically catching nothing. The other guy suggested that perhaps there was a school of big fish down there, maybe sharks, as sharks move in groups and even killer whales have to be wary of them. So the smaller fish flee from the area. They were right, because right beneath their ship was a group of great white sharks roaming around. Chen's sea iguana, which was also following the ship to the deep sea, encountered these sharks. As soon as the sharks saw the sea iguana, they immediately attacked it. A great white shark took the sea iguana into its mouth and tried to bite it. But just as it tried to bite, the sea iguana raised its spikes, hurting the shark. The shark died, and seeing this, the others got scared and ran away. Then Chen's sea iguana started eating the dead shark's body, gaining 10 evolution points. Chen, connected to the sea iguana and sharing its senses, tasted the white shark's meat and thought it was too tender. After eating the shark, Chen received a system notification stating that his clone had met the evolution requirement and asked if he wanted to evolve the sea iguana. Chen was surprised to find that he could now choose to evolve. He confirmed the evolution, and the sea iguana came out of the sea to begin its transformation. Bolts of evolutionary lightning traveled into the sea iguana's body, causing it immense pain. Simultaneously, in the gym, Chen also felt the same pain and fell to the ground. He looked at his status window and saw that he had leveled up to level 1. His constitution was 130, and his spirit was 38. His beginner traits, external aura and chi perception, now had 280 experience points. His skills had also enhanced. They were all now intermediate. His 8 extremities. Boxing skill had 370 experience points. His stepping cloud jump had 290, and his tan leg technique had 370 points. Chen's clone had evolved into a scale-armored spiny lizard, a newborn ferocious beast, trying to evolve into a ferocious beast lord. It had evolved twice, and needed 5,000 points for the next evolution. It also acquired an ability named Water Affinity. Chen's body had become more muscular. He was happy because he had made a breakthrough, and his constitution was 13 times that of a normal person, reaching a level equivalent to great success in the dark realm in ancient martial arts. However, looking at his status window, Chen was slightly disappointed that his constitution hadn't doubled even after evolution, but this confirmed that it had doubled the last time, because his base stat was low. He looked into the sea iguana's details, and noticed that it now had water affinity, but he didn't know anything about it, and wondered what it meant to have water affinity. Chen then connected himself to the sea iguana, and was surprised to see its body size. The sea iguana's body had become much larger, its bone density a few times more than before, and its weight had reached 4 to 5 tons. Its power had doubled, and the claws were akin to steel, making it much more explosive than before. Following the ship, Chen noticed that the sea iguana could now swim up to 70 kilometers per hour, even faster than a large ship. The sea iguana made less noise and felt less resistance while swimming, which Chen thought must be because of the water affinity. The next day, Chen called the glasses-wearing man and asked him if anyone had been asking for treasures lately. The man told him that no one was asking right now. Hearing this, Chen said they would find the treasure themselves. He asked the glasses-wearing man how the research was going. The man told Chen that they had found a few locations with sunken ships, but without Boss Zhang, who could breathe underwater, they couldn't do anything. Chen told him not to worry about it. He could handle it. Chen looked into the database and found that the shallow water areas of routes used by Z country in the past and the major commercial waterways used by H and R countries had been mostly explored, but there were still a lot of priceless ships in the deep area. Chen took his sea iguana to a location 25 kilometers offshore in the Yellow Sea area. Connected to the sea iguana, he checked that he could now breathe deep underwater after this evolution, and his perception had also improved. He could feel the area up to 20 kilometers around him. He was confident that he was now ready to go after tidying everything up. Then he disconnected the connection with the sea iguana, looked at his phone, and saw that it was almost 11 o'clock. He decided to get some food to treat himself, thinking, isn't the point of raising a clone to enjoy life? To eat something, Chen went to Pedestrian Street, which was near his house. The meal was nice, but Chen was surprised to find that just one meal cost over 3,000. His savings were only 20,000. But he was not worried because he would soon take over Boss Zhang's company, so at least he got a taste of what it feels like to be rich. While returning home, he noticed something alarming. He saw a girl lying unconscious on the ground, and two men checking her. The scene didn't look right to Chen. As a righteous man of society, Chen raised his voice and asked them what they were looking at. Chen was confident because he knew that with his growing strength and his passion for martial arts awakening, as long as there was no real danger, he didn't mind stepping in. Seeing Chen step in, the thugs became very angry. One thug, in anger, asked Chen what he had just said. Another thug took out a knife and shouted, "Kid, get lost now, and I'll pretend I didn't see you." Chen didn't really want to fight them, and just wanted to scare them. He released his aura from his body. Chen's aura formed a beast form and looked at those thugs. Although it was not visible to human eyes, humans could feel its pressure. Both of the thugs got scared and didn't understand why it felt like they were being stared down by a beast. Scared, one thug suggested to the other to let's get out of here. But suddenly, the girl started laughing. She mocked the thugs, asking if they were actually scared and if they were really not real men. Seeing the woman provoking the thugs, Chen wondered if this woman was crazy. Hearing the woman's words, the thugs started to rethink their decision to run away. Looking at the woman, they thought that a woman like this doesn't come around every day, and they couldn't let her think they were weak. Immediately, both of the thugs charged at Chen. One thug said to the other that there was no reason to be afraid of Chen. He's just one guy. The other thug agreed, saying, "Yeah, let's get him. This guy's way too cocky." Chen was at a loss for words, seeing them charging at him. Everything was already resolved, but because of the girl, a fight ultimately broke out. Left with no choice, Chen got into his martial arts pose, and when the thugs were within his reach, he kicked them in the stomach, sending them flying. Chen barely used 10% of his strength. Otherwise, that kick could have reduced them to mush. He decided to let them off this time. They'd done wrong, but not enough to deserve death. Both of the thugs were very scared, and while running away, they called Chen a demon who came straight out of hell. After the thugs ran away, the girl stood up, laughing like a drunk person, and praised Chen, saying he was amazing and strong. Seeing her acting like this, Chen wondered if she was drugged. He immediately took out his smartphone and called the cops, informing them that there was a woman who seemed drunk outside Shengtang Bar. He told the cops that she looked a bit compromised. While Chen was on the call, the woman came near him and started teasing him in a lovely voice, asking Chen why he'd called the cops, if she wasn't pretty, and if he didn't want to take her home. Chen didn't reply to her and waited for the cops. A few minutes later, a group of cops showed up at the scene. One cop took the girl into their car, and another took Chen's statement. Chen told the cops that he was the one who called the police. He had come out for a midnight snack and saw her in that situation. He explained everything to the cops. After taking the statement, the cops left with the girl. Finally, after dealing with that, it was time for Chen to control the giant lizard and look for the sunken ship. Chen controlled the giant lizard and took it to check out the location that Glasses Guy had sent him. The information was accurate, and there really was a sunken ship there. Chen activated his energy sensing ability, but right now, his energy sense could only reach about 20 meters. Even with just that, after a few minutes of searching, he found a jackpot. On the shipwreck, he found solid gold bars. After finding the gold, Chen ordered Glasses Guy to steer the ship 3 kilometers east and drop a crate. Glasses Guy acknowledged and got to work. While he was preparing the crate, a guy called Glasses Guy and asked him if anyone else on the boss's crew, besides Zhang Changshou, could breathe underwater. Glasses Guy told him to stop asking questions and not to pry into the boss's secrets. Then, they dropped the crate, and Chen's sea iguana placed all the gold bars onto the crate. Chen was connected to the sea iguana, and after it placed all the gold bars on the crate, Chen asked Glasses Guy to start recovering the loot. After recovering the gold, Chen went to check the ship again. While exploring, he saw a piece of metal stuck on the wall of the ship. The sea iguana tried to cut that piece of metal, but it was too tough. Chen was surprised because his sea iguana's claws could easily tear through regular metal, but they barely left a mark on this. Chen thought this must be some kind of special alloy. It could be very valuable and decided to take it back for study. The sea iguana grabbed that huge rock and started to swim to the surface, but before it could, suddenly, a white snake-like fish attacked the sea iguana. It was a huge fish that Chen had never seen before. The fish grabbed the sea iguana with its sharp teeth, trying to kill it. Seeing it trying to ambush, Chen got angry, thinking, "Who do you think you are? Even though you're longer and bigger than me, when it comes to strength, offense, and defense, you're no match for me." What Chen said was right. In front of his sea iguana, that white fish was nothing. It killed the white fish and ate it like sashimi. A few hours later, Chen went to a beach. Looking at a huge rock, Chen thought, the reefs have been eroded by seawater for years, making them incredibly hard. The deserted beach at night is the perfect spot to test my strength. Thinking that, he punched the rock and saw that the force works both ways. But Chen's bone density is nearly 20 times that of an average human. Plus, with his external shield absorbing most of the impact, his hand only feels a bit sore, and that slight soreness, his body's recovery ability gets rid of it almost instantly. Chen continued to practice his boxing on that huge rock because, after this evolution, his physique had surpassed 200. Chen hadn't tested it yet, but knew that his punches should weigh at least 3,000 pounds, or 1.5 tons. With his outer energy boost and 8 extremities boxing technique, he could punch straight through a person with ease. To test his power, Chen punched that huge rock with full force, and with just one punch, he destroyed that rock. After training for so long, Chen was very exhausted and fell on the ground. He was training here because his punching bag at home isn't durable enough, and he can't train at the park either. With modern technology, if someone recorded him and uploaded it online, it'd be a huge problem if people found out he is extraordinary. It would only bring trouble, and so only on this empty beach can he train freely. Chen looked at his hands, and they were already healed. He could hardly believe how insane his recovery ability is. He stopped for less than a minute, and the scrapes on his hands were already healed. While he was busy checking his healing ability, the sea iguana returned to him with that piece of metal. Chen checked the metal, and saw that this irregular black ore shines with a metallic luster, but doesn't seem particularly special at first glance. When he tried to pick the metal up, he was surprised because the metal chunk weighs close to 200 pounds. It's heavy and extremely tough. Even the giant lizard's claws struggle to scratch it. Chen thought this is perfect for crafting a weapon, but he knows that with his current skills, making a suitable weapon would be difficult. So for now, he decided to focus on dealing with those gold bars. After training, Chen returned to the ship and asked Glasses Guy where the stuff was. Glasses Guy told him that it's all on the ship and everything's been cleaned up. He led Chen to the captain's cabin where all the gold was. While Chen was checking the gold, Glasses Guy asked him how much money it is worth. He was amazed to see all that gold, saying he had never seen so many gold bars in his life. Chen told Glasses Guy that the gold bars don't have any markings, so they must have been privately minted, which means they can't sell them as antiques. The next day, after doing some research, Chen found that there is a shop in bustling downtown where he can sell the gold on the black market. Just as he entered, the receptionist welcomed him. Chen immediately asked her if they buy gold here. The receptionist told him they do, and asked him if he was selling rings or necklaces. Chen showed her the gold bars from his bag, and told her that he wanted to sell these. The receptionist was quite surprised, saying it was quite a lot of gold. She asked Chen to please come upstairs, and she would take him to meet their manager. When Chen went upstairs, he met the manager of the shop. He greeted, and asked Chen for his name, and how much gold he was selling. Chen introduced himself, then opened his bag and told the manager that he wanted to sell all this gold. Seeing all that gold, the manager told Chen that he would need to have his team check the quality of the gold. He asked Chen to please wait a moment. The manager's staff got to work and started checking the gold while Chen sat on the sofa waiting for them to complete. After a few minutes, the manager came back and told Chen that his gold bars weigh a total of 11,250 grams. Since they're not very pure and privately made, they were offering 400 yuan per gram. He asked Chen if this works for him. Chen knew that privately made gold is hard to sell, and the price the manager was offering was right, so he made the deal. After all the necessary processes, Chen got a message from his bank that his account had been credited with 4,500,000 yuan. Chen then left the shop and while driving home, he saw many people returning from their college or work. Seeing them, Chen thought, people my age are still hustling through college, while I can make millions from just one adventure. This all felt too surreal to Chen, who has been poor all his life. After getting that much money, Chen decided that first, he should get a better car because his current car has such a low chassis, making it terrible on the bumpy coastal roads. He went directly to a luxury auto showroom. Glasses Guy also went with him, and both of them started looking for the perfect car that Chen could use daily. While they were checking cars, some new customers entered the showroom, a black-haired guy and his red-haired girlfriend. When Chen saw the girl, he immediately recognized her because she was his ex. Back then, Chen had spent a fortune trying to win her over. And what did she do? She chased after wealth and status, living it up with rich boys. When the red-haired girl saw Chen, she mocked him by telling her boyfriend that the guy over there is the loser who used to chase her. Hearing that, her boyfriend laughed at Chen and asked, "What's a broke college kid like you doing in a luxury car showroom?" Glasses Guy got very angry, asking them who they were calling broke. But Chen stopped Glasses Guy, telling him not to mind them. Seeing Glasses Guy angry, the black-haired boy said, "Are we not allowed to say the truth? Aren't you just a broke college student? This isn't a place you can afford, is it?" The red-haired girl told her boyfriend not to waste time on him, and let's go look at cars. She went and picked a red car, telling her boyfriend that she wanted that one. Her boyfriend got scared when he saw the expensive car. He tried to make excuses, saying, "Let me check it out for you." He was thinking that money is for impressing women. He only gets a few tens of thousands a month for spending. So how could he actually buy her a luxury car? On the other hand, Chen checked out a white car. Looking at the car, Chen thought, this car has a high chassis and can carry stuff. It should meet all my needs. He told the saleswoman that he wanted this car and would pay by card. The saleswoman told Chen that this car costs 2.38 million yuan and asked if he would be paying by card or in full. Chen told her that he would pay in full. The red-haired girl was shocked to hear that Chen was paying by card for that car and that the car was 2.38 million. But her boyfriend came over and told her that Chen was just pretending, saying there was no way he had 2.38 million in his account. Hearing that, the red-haired girl agreed, telling him that back then, Chen couldn't even afford anything but instant noodles for weeks just to chase her. They made fun of Chen, calling him a broke student who was pretending to buy a luxury car. The black-haired guy came over and told Chen that there was no need to put on a show because it'd be embarrassing if his card gets declined. Glasses Guy told the black-haired guy that it's none of his business. He asked the black-haired guy what he would do if Chen could afford that car. The black-haired guy told Glasses Guy that if Chen could afford it, he would call him Dad right there, but if Chen couldn't, then Chen would have to call him Dad. Glasses Guy immediately accepted the deal. The red-haired girl was laughing at Chen, thinking he was acting like he could really afford it but was just bluffing. After a few minutes, the salesgirl returned and handed Chen his card and the car key, saying, "The car is yours now." Chen thanked her, and then looked at his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend. The boyfriend was shocked to see that Chen actually bought the 2.38 million yuan car. The red-haired girl was also very confused, wondering how Chen had become so rich. Glasses Guy grabbed the boyfriend by the collar, asking, "Aren't you going to keep your word and call our boss Dad?" But then Chen intervened and told Glasses Guy not to waste time on people like this. While leaving with Chen, Glasses Guy told the two that his boss is too kind. If it were up to him, they wouldn't leave here today without saying Dad. The black-haired guy was very embarrassed, and the red-haired girl was speechless. When Chen drove off in his new luxury car, she chased after him, asking him to just hear her out, but Chen didn't stop. Seeing her chasing Chen's car, a saleswoman commented, she thought she found a rich guy but missed out on someone with real potential. Another saleswoman standing beside agreed, saying, "That's just how people are. They regret only after losing something." After leaving the showroom, Chen went to Cloud's Edge restaurant, the top spot for fine dining and service in N City. When he entered with his luxury car, all the waitresses greeted him with respect. He went to a private room where a waitress showed him the menu and asked what he would like to order. Chen looked at the menu and ordered a 5,888 yuan Boston lobster and a 7,888 yuan king crab, among many other items. When the food arrived, two girls came to personally feed Chen with their hands. All the food tasted more delicious when girls personally fed him. Chen was happy and said, "It's pricey, but worth it." Chen was thinking that after cooking so many meals for his lizard, it was time to enjoy the life of luxury himself. While he was enjoying his meal, he suddenly got a message on his phone. It was from his college advisor, informing the students that classes start in a week and they have to report to school on time. When Chen saw the message from the advisor, he remembered that he is still a sophomore. Chen then opened his status window. Now his constitution has reached 327, and his spirit is 49. He still has only one talent: mind control. His traits, external aura and chi perceptions experience points have also increased. His skills, 8 extremities, boxing, stepping cloud jump, and tan leg techniques power has increased too. His companion, armored spiked lizard's evolution points have reached 2,160, which needed 5,000 points to evolve a third time. Looking at the status window, Chen understands that once classes start, he will have less time, so he needs to earn more money fast to help his little lizard break through to the Shadow Realm. That's all for today, everyone. Before we wrap up, I want to extend a huge thanks to New 88s21, Troy Sale, Marcin Staszewski, Adrian, Midmujtaba BIPC, Bot Carl, Sheila Nacion, and Alan Armstrong, the new members of our channel. Welcome to the family, guys. We've recently launched a membership program here, where you can enjoy perks like early access to videos and soon, exclusive content just for members. You'll also receive custom badges and emojis to enhance your interactions. If you're interested, consider joining our membership to enjoy these benefits. Check out the link in the description to join. See you all in the next video.